Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today I want to tell you all about the most intimidating book on my bookshelf. Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. My name's Alice, and if this is your first time here, I have over 200 books on my physical TBR, and my current mission is to read as many of them as possible before I buy anything else. In today's video, I'd like to talk to you all about the book that intimidates me the most on my entire TBR of 200 books. This is a colossus. If you've watched my last video, you'll know that in June I'm planning to read some of the books that I've had for the longest time on my physical TBR. Last week I saw Svea's video all about Ancientthon. It was the first time I'd heard about this challenge for June. If you haven't heard of Ancientthon, it's a readathon being hosted by Jennifer and Tori at Hufflepuff Discovery. The aim of this is to read works that were published before 1700. So when I heard about Ancientthon, I had to think about what was on my shelf from pre-1700, and I couldn't think of anything apart from the complete works of Shakespeare. I'm going to be very busy with a lot of modern books in June, so I don't think I'll be tackling the complete works of Shakespeare. But there is a book that I've had for a very long time that has been intimidating me ever since I got it, that was published in this time period. And that led me to think, is it finally time to tackle the #1 scariest book on my bookshelf? The intimidation factor is huge. It's nearly 1,000 pages. It's over 1,000 pages including the notes. And it sits here on this shelf right behind me in my classics section. And it is, of course, Don Quixote. I have owned Don Quixote for a lot of years. The story behind me owning Don Quixote is a bit mysterious to me, really. I know that I got it for Christmas in 2008, and I got it for Christmas because I had asked my brother to buy me this monster of a book, which he dutifully did, and it's still completely pristine and unopened. It still has the Spanish bookmark in it that he also got me for Christmas that year to go with my Spanish epic. And it's a bit of a mystery to me why I asked for this monster of a classic. At that point in time, I had read very few classics. I think I'd probably only read Wuthering Heights, which was a mistake as a first classic, and Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. So I'm really not sure why I asked for this as a present. I was obviously feeling very ambitious at the time, because in my book journal I have set a target to read this as one of my reading targets for 2009. I didn't read this book in 2009, I didn't even start it. Life got in the way in 2009, and Don Quixote has never appeared again as a reading target. It has sat on my shelf, it has moved house with me, it has sat on a shelf again. I wouldn't say once in that 12 or 13 years have I ever thought to pick up Don Quixote. So I was wondering if Ancientthon is the perfect excuse for me to make my first attempt at reading Don Quixote. I don't know how well that's going to fit in with my other reading plans for June. I have 11 other books to choose from, but I may try tackling this monster alongside the other books. What do I know about Don Quixote so far? Not a lot. This book was originally published in 2 parts in 1605 and 1615. I have heard that this book is often considered to be the first modern novel, and it paved the way for thousands of other stories. This is also considered by many as one of the greatest works ever written. So although I have never once picked up this book in 12 to 13 years of owning it, I have still always wanted to read it. I just feel so intimidated by this book. One of the things I find most off-putting about a book is when it has small print and when it has nearly 1,000 pages. I had a little look online and I discovered that Don Quixote is thought to have sold more than 500 million copies, making it the best-selling book of all time. That doesn't include any religious texts, but after those, Don Quixote is thought to be the best-selling book of all time. To put that into context, that's nearly 400 million more than Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone or Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. It's 350 million more copies than Lord of the Rings, and it's 300 million more copies than A Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens' biggest-selling novel. To be the best-selling book of all time, and for people to think you're one of the greatest works ever written, and to be thought of as the first modern novel. Those are some pretty huge, bold claims made about this book. So I am intrigued. I want to challenge myself. I think it's time that Don Quixote stopped living on my shelf and actually got read. I don't really know what Don Quixote is about, other than that it's about the title character. All I know is what I've read on the blurb, which is that Don Quixote has become so entranced by reading romances of chivalry that he decides to become a knight and pursue bold adventures. And he does this accompanied by his squire, Sancho Panza. And basically, I get the impression that this book is about them roaming the world together, going on flights of fancy. I should imagine it's a bit about the relationship between the two of them. And it basically says on the back that it's a wonderful burlesque of the popular literature its disordered protagonist is obsessed with. If Don Quixote himself is obsessed with reading, maybe that's why I wanted a copy of this book. I don't know. Stay tuned to my channel to find out whether I tackle my nemesis of a book. Will I read it? How will I get on? Can I get past the huge intimidation of this book's size and get it read? If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. Please consider subscribing to see whether I tackle this book. Please leave me a comment down below. What is the most intimidating book on your TBR, and will you be reading it soon? If you are joining in with Ancientthon in June, let me know below what you're planning to read. I'd love to hear from anybody who's also planning to read Don Quixote. If you'd like to know more about Ancientthon, please do check out Jennifer Brooks' channel and Tori's channel, Hufflepuff Discovery. I've linked both channels in the description below so you can go and find out all about this readathon. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll join me again soon for another video all about books that intimidate me much less than this one on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.